Los Angeles is not perfect. In fact, there's a ton of things that I do not like about living here in Los Angeles, but there's a ton of things that are real sweet too. So in this video, we're going over the pros and cons of living in Los Angeles. So let's get to it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Mike Devlak, and I am a local realtor right here in the Los Angeles area. Now, if this is your first time to this channel, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button and tap that notification bell. That way you are notified every time we post a new video. We're posting videos like this one basically every week, helping people who are thinking about moving to Los Angeles or Orange County or the Inland Empire, basically anywhere in SoCal. Helping them and giving them some information to assist them in their potential move and their big decision. And we're getting phone calls, texts, and emails pretty much every single day, and we absolutely love it. So if you are someone who wants help in that move here, make sure you go ahead and you shoot us a text, give us a call, send us an email. Our information is right here. Days, nights, weekends, holidays, it doesn't matter. We've got your back when moving to Los Angeles. So without further ado, let's get into the pros and cons of living here. All right, so we are going to dive into the 5 worst and the 5 best things about living here in the Los Angeles area. I'm going to start on the negative side of things, and then we'll bounce back and forth between cons and pros. That way we finish on a good one. Alrighty. So the number 5 con about living in Los Angeles is going to be earthquakes. Now, earthquakes are kind of sort of normal-ish here. If you've grown up here your whole life, you know, the ground shakes a little bit. It can be scary. Sometimes it shakes harder than others. But if you're not from here, that's something that, you know, the first time it happens, it's gonna be a little different for you, and you're like, what the heck's going on? Usually, so just to give you a little pro tip for living in LA. When there's an earthquake, the first thing you do, aside from taking cover, once the earthquake's done, you run to Twitter real quick and you check the hashtag earthquake just to make sure the earthquake actually happened. All right, because you're gonna see a million people in LA posting on Twitter like, "Oh my God, earthquake!" with a bunch of memes. All right, it's just what you do here. All right, so when there's an earthquake, boom, straight to Twitter. Make sure it was actually an earthquake. All right, but all kidding aside, we are along or close to the San Andreas Fault, and you know, experts have been predicting that the big one is coming. All right, they're making movies about it with The Rock. You know, that fault goes all the way up to San Francisco. So when it happens, it's supposed to be huge, epic. Thousands and thousands of people are going to die. So allegedly, but that's something to think about, and it could scare people away. I read a study that I think they said there's a 46% chance that within the next 30 years, the big one's going to happen. And I guess depending on which part of I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but it's supposed to be really bad. So either that's going to happen, or maybe the guy across the world is going to press a little button and we're going to be vaporized. I have no idea, but just something to consider when moving to Los Angeles. All right, so now we're going to bounce over, like I said, to something that's positive on the good side of things. The number 5 pro, or best thing about living in LA, is going to be the food options. There's people from all over the world, so that means there's food from all over the world, and it just really, really gourmet food. You know, you got mom and pop shops, you got, you know, famous celebrity chefs with restaurants, just really like whatever your heart desires. Mexican food, sushi, Chinese food, burgers, steak, like gastropubs, like wineries, like there's so much, like so many options for food. It's ridiculous. So if you're a foodie person, you're absolutely gonna love LA. All right, food here is amazing. All right, we will jump back now to Con number 4, it's kind of a 2-for-1. It's going to be traffic. All right, you've probably heard about the traffic in Los Angeles if you're considering moving here. It is as bad, maybe worse than you've heard. All right, we're talking like first things first. Wherever you're coming from, I'm gonna guess you measure driving time or driving in miles. And I just slipped right now when I said it. We measure driving in time. Alrighty, so we say it takes X amount of minutes to get somewhere. All right, and I know in other parts of the country, something's 5 miles away. All right, so taking into account the traffic and the freeways when choosing where you're going to live, with maybe where you work, where that commute's going to be to work, or different amenities around you, or different things, kids' schools, if you're going private schools, public schools, just things that you need to consider. Is definitely that traffic. It's, if you look at the map, like on the freeways, that stuff's all red. Red's bad. It's slow. All right. Lots of accidents and stuff like that. Aside from the parking, so like you're taking forever to get somewhere. But when you're going somewhere cool and there's traffic, so let's say you're going to like a Dodger game, or you're going to a mall or the beach, something, wherever you go, and if it's a place worth going, chances are there's going to be two things. One, you have to pay to park there. And two, it's going to be hard to find a parking spot. All right, so those are just some other things to consider. Like whenever we go to a mall, or my wife, go to the mall with my wife, malls are packed. Some malls charge to park, most don't. But the malls, you go on a weekend or something, it's packed. Some of them have valet parking, so you could pay and you don't have to wait. Or what I do, pro tip, all right, I'm the type of guy that's willing to walk. My wife's not. She's the type, if she's the driver, she'll like wait in the first 2 rows for like that one random person to come out and all that good stuff. But what I do is I'll go to the front of the mall, drop her off, and I'll take my ass to the back row, park, and I will walk in, and then like rinse and repeat when it's time to leave, or I walk and go pick her up. Alrighty. So just something to keep in mind there is going to be the traffic and the parking. Brutal. All right. Let's go with number 4 on the pros of living here. It's just the diversity and the culture. Like I said earlier, there's people from all over the world. That means there's tons of culture, tons of diversity. Getting to speak different languages, or learn different languages, or have friends who have different customs. It's really cool. It's really unique, and it spills over into like the different art around the city, the food. If your kids go to, if you're coming with a family and your kids go to school, there's a giant, mixing pot of people. So it's really cool to be able to learn about other people's cultures and their backgrounds and that sort of thing. So a lot of people really like the diversity and the culture that comes with living in this Los Angeles area. Next up, for the cons, I'm going to go number 3 is going to be the taxes. All right. So you've probably heard about the tax situation here. I've lived here my whole life. I don't think it's necessarily as bad as some people are saying. So you got, obviously you got income tax. We have this like weird sliding scale thing. And it's basically, if you're moving to LA, I'm going to assume that you make over the national average, or at least the national average. I believe it's somewhere in the $50,000 to $60,000 range. All right. So there's this bracket between like somewhere in the 50,000s all the way up to like 350,000. If you're in that bracket, all right, I believe the tax rate right now is like 8.9%, somewhere around there for the income tax, and that's single. So if you're married, then you double that, and to kind of see where you fall on that line. All right, so most people are going to fall in that main category there. And then the other part of the taxes is going to be the property tax if you're a homeowner. Now, it varies by county, but it's right around 1%, so give or take, just depending on the county that you're at. Now, I know there's other parts in the country where they charge 2 to 3% on the property tax. So the percentage-wise, ours isn't that bad, but where you get hit is because the value of the homes are so much higher that 1-ish% is really costly. That's where you kind of feel it. So, it is what it is, but taxes are definitely a reason that people view as a con of living here in Los Angeles. All right. But those taxes, number 3 pro, all right, it's the beach. The beach is really amazing. We have so many beaches, great beaches with, amazing sunsets at night. I mean, and tons of life along the beach. So not only if you're not a surfer or someone who goes to the water, there's a strand where you can ride a bike, rollerblade, do whatever. Lots of shops and like ice cream and food, and it's just really cool. Lots of piers and stuff like that. So I mean, you got Malibu up north, way up north. You got Malibu, you got Santa Monica, Venice Beach, Manhattan, Hermosa, Redondo, Long Beach. You're gonna go into Huntington Beach, down to Newport Beach, Corona del Mar. Like all this, there's so much like cool beach stuff to do, and the beaches are amazing. There's so much sand. Somewhere in this area, there's going to be a beach for you and your family to come out and have some fun. So beaches are amazing. Tons of people enjoy the beaches, so lots of options and fun there. Alrighty. Next up leads us to number 2 on the cons of living in LA. It kind of talked about the property taxes. It's just the housing costs. We're the 3rd or 4th most expensive, area to buy a house in the whole country. So wherever you're coming from, there's a good chance, unless you're coming from New York or San Francisco, you're probably going to pay more for your house here. It just, it's you probably already knew that though if you're looking out this way. Like I've already said, you've got the beaches, you've got so many things to do, you got amazing weather. There's a lot of people that want to live here, so it's going to cost. There's simple economics. Supply and demand. There's not that much coastal living, so everyone wants to live there, so the price is going to go up. So it is what it is. But it's definitely one of the biggest cons of living here is the housing cost. So, all right. But that leads us to number 2. I already alluded to it a little bit on the pros here. Weather. The weather here is amazing. We're talking, around the 70s basically all year long. In the winter we're down into the 60s. It's freezing. The typical, just FYI, another pro tip. I'm passing out pro tips here. In the winter, the thing to do in California, if you're a guy, is you're gonna wear shorts with sandals and a hoodie. All right, that's what you're gonna do. All right, that's just the California winter attire. All right, if you're a girl, basically the same thing, but substitute the shorts for leggings. That's what you do. All right, that's winter attire here in California. The weather's great year round. You got that beach, ocean breeze. Alrighty, so the weather is it's incredible. It's amazing. You're going to get rain, 15, 20, 25 days a year. Not bad at all. It's actually refreshing when it does rain. And the weather's it's great weather year round. So, that's something that I think most people are willing to pay that higher price to live in this area because of the weather. Having said that, if you're someone who really enjoys the seasons, probably not the spot for you. All right, we got one season and it's like 75 and sunny. All right, with a little bit of a breeze sometimes. So take that into account when making that decision. All right, we're rounding out the list here. Right, I'm down to the number 1 reason, the biggest con for moving here. I got it down as the gas price. All right, the price of gas and stuff here is crazy. All right. Like right now, we got the whole thing in Ukraine going on as I'm filming this. Gas, I went to the doctor yesterday and came out and gas was like $5.20 or $5.30 a gallon. That's ridiculous. Now, I know it's elevated because of the situation on the other side of the world, all right? But still, like I know right now the national average is hovering around $4, and we're like $1.20 above that. So gas, it's just outrageous how much you have to pay for gas. If you couple the traffic and the gas together, transportation here is not very fun, and something that like you need transportation here. Like it's not a place that you can come and rely on public transportation. All right, in my opinion, I wouldn't rely on public transportation, and then also like going to work and stuff. You're gonna need a car to go to these cool things. In LA, everything we have to offer, you're going to need transportation. You can't rely on public transportation or walking. All right, things are spread apart. All right, not much is close together unless you're living in downtown LA and you're going to walk everywhere, which I don't know, good luck at night walking everywhere because there's like feces on the ground in some spots. So, anyways, gas prices, number 1 con because they're just outrageous. They're out of control. They make no sense. All right, so something to consider there. All right, that kind of touches a little bit on the best thing, the number 1 pro of living in LA is the shit to do. Like, there's so much stuff to do. You're close to a bunch of things. I mean, pro sports teams. We got amusement parks. We got all these concert venues. Lots of shopping centers. Hiking trails. We're close to the mountains. Tons of beaches. If you're, if you run out of things to do here, guess what? San Diego has a lot of cool things to do too. That's like an hour and a half away. All right, Palm Springs in the desert, hour and a half away. You want to go to Vegas and gamble for the weekend? Cool, 3.5, 4 hours of a drive, 45-minute flight. You can go up to north of Santa Barbara for a little like romantic getaway. Down Temecula wine country. There's just so many options of things to do that it's unmatched. I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, put it down in the comments. I don't know anywhere else in the world, maybe not the world, I don't know for sure, but but the U.S. where you have this beautiful weather basically year round, right? And just so many things to do. Like, I would name all the pro sports teams, but we'd be here for a long time. All the malls. We got Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags. There's so many, perfect for kids. I can go on and on, but this place is amazing. That's why so many people want to live here. Right? That's why you're looking at this video, because you know how amazing it is. So I won't ramble on. If you are wanting to come here and you want some help, we'd love to talk to you, get to know you, your family, your situation, figure out some things about you. What do you like to do? What don't you like to do? Where are you going to be working? What's important to you? Do you have kids? That sort of thing. That way we can, pinpoint a couple of the best spots for you and help you find that perfect location in LA, Orange County, the Inland Empire, something that works for you, your family, your situation. So do yourself a favor, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, weekends, it doesn't matter. Like I said, we absolutely love helping people move here. That's why we started this channel, because we like helping people like you and everyone else that's calling us constantly move here, help them find their perfect spot, and getting on to living that LA lifestyle. So until the next time, I will see you guys later. Peace.